Hey guys, I want to show you how to simplify a fraction. It's pretty cool. The way I do it is kind of different, but it uses a skill that you guys did last year, which was writing factor rainbows. So, if we take a look at this fraction, 12/15ths, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write all my factors out for my numerator 12, just like this. So I know that 12 times 1 is going to give us 12, so 1 and 12 are going to work. No, 2 and 6 is another factor pair. I know 3 and 4 is another factor pair. And that's actually it. Those are all the factors of 12. And so now I'm going to drop down to my 15, which is in the denominator. I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to write out factors for my 15. So 1 and 15. But you see what I did there? I kind of made an upside down rainbow. And let's see here, 3 and 5. And that's my last factor pair. So here comes the fun part. I'm going to find a factor that 12 and 15 have. They both have in common, but it's going to be the biggest one. So they both have 1 in common, but that's not really interesting. It's certainly not the biggest factor, but they do have 3 in common. So the biggest factor they both have in common is 3. And we actually call that the greatest common factor, or the GCF for short. So the greatest common factor between 12 and 15 is 3. So what are we going to do with that 3? Well, we're going to divide the numerator 12 by 3. And we're going to divide our denominator 15 by 3. And 12 times 3 gives us 4. And 15 divided by 3 gives us 5. And so 4/5 is the simplified form of 12/15. So if you see a problem that says write 12/15 in simplest form, 4/5 would be correct. If you see a problem that says simplify 12/15, 4/5 would be correct. Now, how do you know when a fraction is already in simplest form? Well, you know a fraction's already in simplest form when the only factor the numerator and the denominator have in common is 1. Because that means you have to divide the top and the bottom numbers by 1. You get the same numbers back. You get the same fraction you had before, and so you know it's already in simplest form. But to recap, first thing you need to do, write factors out for your numerator, for your denominator, find the greatest common factor between the two, and then divide the numerator and the denominator by that greatest common factor. If you get confused about factors and multiples, one way that I think about it is there are fewer factors. Fewer factors. Both start with F. Or finite. There is a finite amount of factors. Multiples, on the other hand, you can spend your whole life writing out multiples. That's just skip counting. And you could spend your whole life writing all the multiples you could, and you would never truly write every multiple of a number. So there's more multiples, fewer factors. When you want to simplify, use factors.